But moving on now to the start of the school year in New York. Last week, we talked about how teachers feel about the new school year. After all, a lot of things have changed since the start of COVID. But for students, another big change could be on the way, and that's a new set of graduation requirements. In New York, students have to pass at least 4 Regents exams to get a high school diploma. But there's been some discussion in recent years on whether that's actually good for students. So in 2019, the state education department formed a commission to look at the current graduation requirements and recommend any changes. And that work is finally coming to an end. Producer Catherine Rafferty has that story. The State Education Department's Blue Ribbon Commission on Graduation Measures is tasked with proposing new high school graduation requirements. The commission is composed of about 40 individuals, representing various stakeholders, from teachers, school staff, parents, and more. The Board of Regents was supposed to consider changes in 2021, but the pandemic delayed the process. The commission has met each month since fall of 2022, with each meeting focused on an element of the state's current graduation requirements. In July, the commission met in the Albany area for 3 days to discuss, evaluate, and finalize their recommendations on new graduation measures for approval from the Board of Regents. Angelique Johnson-Dingle, Deputy Commissioner of P-12 Instructional Support, is a member of the commission.
We have discussed everything from course and credit requirements to looking at financial literacy. We've talked a bit about ethnic studies, culturally responsive sustaining education, and of course, the role of Regents exams.
Graduation rates increased during 2 years without Regents exams due to the pandemic. According to NYSED data, the 2018-2019 school year saw an 83% graduation rate for the state, jumping to an 87% graduation rate in 2022. Samantha Bruno is a recent graduate of South Manor High School in Suffolk County who serves on the commission.
A lot of people struggle with the demand of, say, like the Regents exams and the general course requirements, and especially people of the special education background have a lot of struggles with the current way that things are.
The commission is hoping changes to graduation requirements could make a difference for gaps in achievement, especially for students of color, students with disabilities, English language learners, and low-income students. In the 2021-2022 school year, the graduation rate in New York was 87%, according to data from the State Education Department. That's compared to 65% for English language learners. Dr. Sagrario Rudicindo O'Neill, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Student Support at Beacon City School District, is also a member of the commission. She said that COVID-19 further exposed the inequities that continue to exist in New York schools.
I myself am a former ENL student, so English is not my first language, so is near and dear to my heart. We understand now that COVID kind of revealed, not that we didn't know about inequities, but they became more glaring during COVID, ensuring that students have the technology, number one, that they need, that it's in the language, that they are able to access the information, particularly as we know that we have new arrivals that are coming, ensuring that schools have what they need. So we've had conversations like, well, what does that look like? And that's an ongoing conversation.
The work of the commission included hosting parent and student advisory meetings and gathering input from all interested stakeholders. It also included an extensive review of relevant research, literature, and experience. At NYSED's request, the Region 2 Comprehensive Center, also called R2CC, from West Ed, conducted a review which found that assessments required for graduation, such as high school exit exams, did not correlate positively with college or career outcomes. Rather, there is evidence that demonstrates the benefit of high schools providing alternative pathways to graduation. This could lessen the consequences of failing an exit exam, according to the review. Jamie Sifone, Executive Vice President of New York State United Teachers, says that alternative pathways to graduation can be another way for students to demonstrate their knowledge.
High-stakes testing usually creates a stressful and high-pressure learning environment for both students and teachers. And that can really take the joy out of coming to school each day for some students. So we know that the Regents is a standardized assessment, and that's one way to measure student success. But we also know that students demonstrate their knowledge in various ways. And so having some alternate pathways in which students can show mastery of the New York State learning standards is a really good thing to be discussing and to be thinking about.
Some argue if there is not a consistent measure of student readiness, there will be a decline in New York's educational standards. Findings from a study conducted by the Educational Trust New York, a statewide education policy and advocacy organization, showed the majority of 2021 graduates relied upon at least one exam exemption to graduate. And although graduation rates for English language learners, students with disabilities, and students from low-income backgrounds have increased over the last 4 years, the 2021 increases disproportionately relied on exemptions, making it difficult to know if graduation rate improvements accurately reflect how well schools are preparing students. Sifone says the alternatives to the exams would have to measure up to the current standards.
Our high stakes tests, our Regents exams, our state assessments, they're aligned to the next generation learning standards. And so if we move to more of a project-based learning or experiential learning pathway, we could, as educators, develop rubrics and have those rubrics be aligned to the standards just the same as the high stakes assessments.
The commission is expected to present their recommendations to the Regents in November. Any changes will take time to implement due to the large number of students affected. Jay Warona, General Counsel to the New York State School Boards Association, says that school boards will be a part of the rollout of potential changes.
I think the policymakers, in short, have to look at the journey that we're on to ask the question about, are we there yet? Are we going in the right direction? Do we need to make adjustments and changes, and take the advice and counsel of their administrative staff? And depending on how great those changes are, I think school districts are going to have some significant work cut out for themselves to get us there. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because if, in fact, the changes are going to reap greater benefits for students, I don't know of anyone who wouldn't be supportive of that.
Angelique Johnson-Dingle from the State Education Department says public outreach and professional learning opportunities may be extended before the changes are made.
We have to make sure that districts understand what the changes are. We need to provide them with opportunities for professional learning, and then we look towards implementation.
And as we said, the Board of Regents will consider the new graduation requirements in November.